Welcome back to SFA News Live. We're right here on the show floor at Moscone Center, the 2018 Winter Fancy Food Show. With me, Ron Tanner, someone I've worked with for a very long time on the Fancy Food Show, who's really created fabulous programs for Specialty Food Association, for the members and so on. And what I want to do, Ron, is talk a little bit about the whole education process. You know, what we have is we've got a great industry that's finally attracting new people. You know, nobody ever woke up in the morning saying, oh, I want to go work for a food company. If you went to Harvard or Stanford or, you know, UC Davis or places like that. Now that's all changed because of people like you who are really created programs. So tell us about the education programs, the universities that you're working with, and what our future entrepreneurship looks like.
Well, it's changing, and it's taking a lot of work to get it changed, because a lot of the universities that we work with, which are mainly the land-grant universities, have been focusing on agriculture. They focus on large companies. You know, historically, students that go to UC Davis, Cal Poly, Virginia Tech, Cornell, they end up working for large companies. So when you do a career fair there, it's Frito-Lay. I just did a career fair at Cal Poly this week. There were a lot of pesticide companies, you know, a lot of farming companies. But students now really want to work for mission-driven companies, and they want to work for small entrepreneurial companies. So we're working with about 12 different universities around the United States to convince students that they should go look at the specialty food industry.
And, you know, you talk about land grant, and, you know, a lot of that is science-based, and convincing them that there's a lot more to food than just on the farm and just ag or pesticides and so on, I'm sure it's a challenge. So when you meet with these students, when you meet with these professors, what are you sharing with them about specialty foods and about the food industry as a whole?
Well, we share with them the excitement of specialty foods. One of the great things about food, it's everywhere. I mean, I think there's 1,600 exhibits here with exciting products. And the fact that if you go work for a specialty food company, you can really make a difference within that company, because many of the companies are small. I mean, they may have 8 employees, they may have 20 employees, some of them have 2 employees. So if you go work for these companies, you're going to be really seeing the results of your work. And a lot of students now want to see those results. So they're excited about that. And they're also excited about working for trendy products. You know, they drink kombucha, you know, they eat kimchi, you know, they love cheese, you know, they love yogurt, and they want to work with companies which are doing those types of products.
Well, to your point, I mean, the old model was you go work for P&G or another company, you know, for 2 or 3 years, you move up as product manager, you do some other things, then maybe when you're 50 or 60, you start your own thing. Now we're seeing it where they want to work for these companies that are surrounding us, and they want to get ideas. They're not looking, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, as long-term. They don't want to stay at a company for 20, 25 years. They want to get experience, they want to get smart about it, then they want to go off on their own and create their own products.
They do, you know, and students today and millennials today, they work 2 years here, 2 years there, 3 years there, and they want to learn while they're working, so they will have that experience to create their own companies, or sometimes it might even be in reverse. I mean, they may work for an entrepreneurial company, and as you know, a lot of the large companies need people that can think like an entrepreneur.
They're stealing them left
and they'll
right.
steal them, so it may be a reverse of what it historically has been, where they would go work with large companies and then come back with small companies. Now, the large companies are looking for people with those small company expertise.
So when you're talking to companies, let's reverse it, and you're saying, you know, you've got this student pool out there that is exciting, that is unique, that want to make a difference, but they might only want to be there for 2 years. You know, what do you say to those companies when they say, you know, Ron, I mean, I want somebody that's going to be with me for 25 years?
Well, I don't think companies are looking for people to be with them for 25 years anymore. They know that there's going to be a constant churn. And a lot of these students are coming in R&D positions. A lot of them are coming in QA or food safety positions. And as you know, Food Safety Modernization Act is affecting all of the little companies. Cal Poly in particular is training people so that they have the preventive controls training to go into companies. So they're looking for people that can do those types of things. things. You know, they want the creative, they want the social media, they want the marketing, but they also want the operational aspects of it. And I think that they feel that they can learn from these students coming in from these great universities in California.
And we've talked about brands. What about retail? Do you see a lot of these students going into retail, and again, across the whole chain, whether it's as a chef, a supermarket, a specialty food store, e-commerce? Do you see, you know, an influx of new talent there as well?
We would like there to be an influx of new talent in retail. Most of the students we work with are in food science or ag business, and they seem to have an interest in that. We just did a career fair at Cal Poly on Thursday, and there were some students that wanted to come work for stores. And there are also some that just love logistics, you know, and the distributor community also needs people to come in and kind of help them out. So it's a variety of different people, but I'd say it's mainly manufacturing right now. If you want to work at a store, you usually don't go to school for that, although I have had students come up to me and they say, oh yeah, you know, I want this job where I get to travel to France and Italy and Japan and discover all these amazing products. You know, I want to get paid $90,000 to do that. Do you know anybody that wants to hire me?
Right, of course, of course. So I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't name brands, but you know, you've been attending these shows for decades. When you walk up and down the aisles, what are you looking for? What, you know, hits your eye and you say, wow, that's going to hit, that's going to be a trend?
Well, I think right now you're looking for snack food products and beverages, you know, because people are really looking for alternative beverages. That's one of the fastest growing categories. So you look for that, you look for an unusual flavor. For the snacks, you look for them having protein in them, which is really big right now. So you just go through and kind of see what you think is going to be big, and it changes every year. You know, many years ago it was hot sauce and salsas, and those are still important, you know, but now it's snacks, you know, but it's probably not going to be kale chips, you know, it's going to be some other kind of, you know, vegetables that are being made into snacks. So there's a lot of changes which are happening, and we like to identify them as the association, but the real experts in that are the buyers. You know, the buyers are there, they're buying the products, they know the velocity of the products which are within their stores, and they are really knowledgeable about what they're looking for out there.
So on our retailer panel at the summer show, we had Kathy Strange from Whole Foods on, and I asked her the same question. And she talked about the products, much as you have, you know, what's hot, but she also said that what she's looking for, and the reason that the Fancy Food Show is so important for her, she wants to build a relationship with these people. She wants to get to know them. She wants to feel their passion about their products, because that's how she can tell whether or not a product is really going to be a hit. Because you can have a great idea, you can have a great package, but if it's the wrong people behind it, it just might not go anywhere.
Well, in specialty food, the person is as important as the product. You know, we were mentioning that in our basic session we went on yesterday, that when you're talking about your product, talk about yourself. Talk about your passion. Talk about how you came up with the idea. Talk about it as if it's your child, you know, and sometimes you can have too many children and you have to get rid of some of them if you have too many products, you know, but really talk about it as if it's your child that you're bringing out in the world and you want that child to be successful. And as you walk around and talk to all the exhibitors here, they all feel that way about their products. You know, they're special things and they want them to go out there and make a better world.
Ron, very, very well said. So what can SFA members do to help your efforts on the education side? How can they get involved? How can they meet, you know, these students, these professors, and really, you know, support what your hard work is bringing to be?
Well, I think they can reach out and talk to the students. We do have about 170 students that are walking the show today. They came up and did an education program yesterday, so the members should be open to them.
And they should just look on their badge. What does it say, student or?
It says the university.
Oh, okay,
That's
great.
Part of it. But we have warned the students multiple times yesterday that if the manufacturer is talking to Williams-Sonoma or Molly Stone's or Whole Foods, that talking to the student for an internship is not high high on their list of
Right.
priorities.
Right.
So the students know to kind of stand back. We do also do a program for our members in California. We have over 800 members in California, and we collect resumes of students, and we put together a spreadsheet with the resumes, and we send them out to the members, and they can contact them on their own.
So if they want more information, the SFA website, and to reach out to you.
And to reach out to me, yes.
Terrific.
And to be looking for, if they're in California, to be looking for something coming to them probably in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Terrific. Ron, congratulations. Great program. As always, great show. Looking forward to it. In fact, now what we're going to do is actually bring up one of the professors and one of the students, and we're going to hear directly from them about their experience both here at the Fancy Food Show, even though the doors just opened about 2 hours ago, what they hope to look for and what their career path is. So, Ron, we're going to ask you to depart.
Well, thank
Thanks
you,
so
Phil.
much.
I'm eager to hear what they have to say.
Yeah. Come on up. Hi, I'm Phil. Excuse the cold hand.
Maddison.
Hey, Maddison. Hi, I'm Phil. Nice to meet you. Please make yourself comfortable. So with me, I've got Dr. Lynn Hamilton. Nope. Sorry, Dr. Alyson Mitchell.
Yes.
Sorry. And Maddison Gurrola?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, good. So I wanted to get the name right. I've never seen Maddison spelled with 2 D's before.
It is an unusual one.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
thanks.
Okay, so let me start with you, Professor. Why are you here? Why are you bringing students here? And what do you think is important that Specialty Food Association can bring to academia?
So I'm here. Is this okay?
Yeah.
I'm here, and I'm here with the students because what's happening here represents what's going to be happening in the marketplace. And our students are involved in product development. Maddison is a great example of that. And we teach product development courses. And so for us to see and understand what trends are in the marketplace is important, so we can bring that back to all of the students, because obviously not all of them.
Not everybody can be here.
Exactly. But it's really important for us as faculty and academics to understand the marketplace so that we can, we're creating products too, and our products are the students that will be working for these companies.
So talk a little bit about your program. What does it entail? How does it work?
So food science is a multidisciplinary degree. Our students, it's a science-based degree, so our students come in and they get training in 4, you could say, major areas. The first one is microbiology and food safety. The second one is food chemistry and understanding reactions in foods. And then they get training in engineering for food processing, and then also some sensory training so that they understand the sensory evaluation of foods.
Sure, I'm a big fan of Charles Spence. Matter of fact, over at Oxford, and Spence in his curriculum is always focused on, for example, I remember the first time I interviewed him, it was the sound of bubbles when you opened up a can of soda and what effect that would have. He was working with a soda company. So Maddison, tell me about some of the products that you've developed. None are secret, right?
No.
Okay,
not
so tell me
secret.
about those, and then I want to ask you about what you're looking for. I want to ask both of you what you're looking for as you walk around the show floor.
Definitely. So I'm a part of a project in the department working to prevent food waste, specifically on upcycling, taking pulp left over from the cold press juicing process and creating new products from it. We had 3 products that we worked on last year: a carrot cake bar using carrot pulp mainly, an oat bar using a bunch of different varieties of pulp from beet, carrot, celery, and everything in between. And then our main product, which we're actually exhibiting and have samples at a booth for Taste Tomorrow, called the Mocha Bite, that uses almond meal left over from creating almond milk, and then coffee grounds from creating cold brew coffee.
So when I think about waste, and everybody knows, 40% of all food is wasted, and we hear all these stats constantly. We're seeing a lot of people trying to create products using waste like yours. How difficult is that? Is that something that keeps you up at night? And oh great, I can collect the food waste, but it really doesn't taste very good. Talk to me a little bit about that process.
Definitely. There's a lot of challenges specifically with food safety and working with whoever you're getting the pulp from to make sure that it's properly handled. We don't want to jeopardize anyone.
Right.
That's part of the reason we ended up leaning towards the almond meal, because it was pasteurized and we can dehydrate it and keep its nutrients at a low heat dehydration. But there's definitely challenges to it, but I think it's also really important. It is something that we're constantly trying to figure out, how do we make it taste good? It has to taste good to sell and for people to want to eat it, especially because it is kind of a novel idea and people can be off-put by the idea of having a kind of second source of food from the processing. So kind of making it taste good, making sure that the message is out there, that people are actually enjoying it and wanting and actively learning that, hey, this isn't bad, this is actually really good, and we can make more products from it.
So what year are you in now?
I'm a senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you want to go into food science?
I actually transferred up to Davis, and I used to be a line cook at a fine dining restaurant in West Hollywood.
I live in Santa Monica.
Oh, awesome. SoCal natives. But I wanted to kind of impact the food system on a larger scale than the restaurant wasn't quite doing. And there's still in restaurants, especially with fine dining, a lot of food waste that happens.
Absolutely.
Because they have their standards, which are great to be met, but there's a lot of really great products that are just being thrown out. So I wanted to go into food science and product development to figure out a better way to use all the resources that we have. We need a sustainable food future.
That's great. So give me the makeup of the students that you have. Are they coming? I mean, I never expected you to say that you were a line cook. So I think that's fabulous. What's the makeup of students and what attracts them to food science?
Because food science is a diverse degree and a multidisciplinary degree in the first place, it lends towards a very diverse student body. So we have students that are interested in chemistry, and students that are interested in processing, and students that are interested in brewing or microbiology and quality control and quality assurance, and students that are interested in sensory science. So we get a diversity of students with very diverse backgrounds, which makes, I think, our program very strong and interesting.
And just the interplay between different students with different, I imagine on your team, you can give them information being on the front line as a line cook that they would never have dreamed of.
Yeah, it has definitely. We had a great team of students. It was selected so that someone specialized in quality assurance, someone else had experience working in a pilot plant for commercialization, someone else had a sensory background, a nutritional science student, all of us working together to get the best possible product. And I think that's something to say for Davis, that we had such a diverse student body to be able to do that.
So what do you want to do when you graduate?
Product development.
No, I know that, but do you want to go off on your own? Do you want to have your own brand? Do you want to go work for a multinational? You want to move to Europe and fool around with the herbs and foods there? What do you want to do?
I've been
the
looking
ideal job.
Ideal job. I'm still figuring it out, but I would interested in starting my own thing. This has been a really great project, and it's kind of shown the startup life that I never anticipated to end up there. So it's been a really awesome experience, but kind of the window's open. I'm pretty free to go whatever direction that seems appealing at the time. I don't want to make set plans and lock myself in.
So last question to both of you. I'm going to start with you, Maddison. What's the one thing that as you go around 1,500 exhibitors and I don't know, something like 180,000 different products that are here, what's that one thing that you're looking for?
For me, I think from the project background, I'm really interested in new products on the market, specifically ones dealing with sustainability and probably plant-based eating, because I think that's something for a sustainable food future that we need to really aim towards. I do eat meat still, so if there's any way to combine it both, and if we can get the best of both worlds just to encourage that lifestyle, I think that's probably the one thing.
Have you tried Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods yet?
I have tried Beyond Meat. I have not been able to try Impossible Foods. I tried, and they ran out of samples at the event I was at.
Oh, really?
I didn't get a ticket in time.
It's also now at Umami Burger.
Oh, yeah.
Umami Burger has it too, so check it out there.
It's on my list.
Yeah. And Professor, what are you looking for as you go up and down?
There's not just one thing. I think I'm looking for novel ingredients and uses of ingredients, and we're interested in ingredients that can amplify sodium. I'm into. I have
That's
a lot
one of my big bugaboos. You know, we do product reviews every week. We've been doing them for probably about 30 years. And, you know, when I see new products come out that have a good health profile, taste good, and they've got 880 milligrams of sodium, I just go like, what are you thinking?
Right.
Yeah.
I have a big interest in that as well. And I think just for me, looking at the different types of products that are coming out on the market, a lot of plant-based products seem to be the thing right now. Of course, specialty items, gluten-free, you know, and looking at how people are getting around that with things such as chickpeas and stuff like that. So I'm just looking at novel ways to create new products so that we can kind of introduce that to our students. Or if they bring novel ideas to me, I could say, oh, I saw this, or
okay.
you might want to think about this company. So.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank
we
you.
we have another professor and another student who's going to come up and tell us what they want. So what we're going to do is we're going to get more people up here, so we're going to have a little excitement going on as you both leave the stage.
Okay.
And we have more people coming up. But we're at the 2018 Fancy Food Show, live at Moscone Center. This is SFA News Live. So you guys got to get up.
Okay.
You got to get up. Got to get.
Go Davis.
Yeah, go David. Oh, you can do that again. We're going to replace it with Cal Poly now. Okay.
Go Mustangs.
And Dr. Lynn Hamilton and Blair Brookes,
Yeah.
you're with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, we are happy and delighted to
Yeah.
be here. Thank you for having us.
So, you know, first up, and you know what we had just talked about, I'm going to ask you some of the same questions, but tell us a little bit about your program.
Well, we are the largest undergraduate agribusiness program certainly in California, and we're one of the top 3 in the country. And our students, we have about 700 students, and they study issues all the way from production to marketing, finance, but we go all the way up through the supply chain into the retail
That's great.
sector and food service. And we have some entrepreneurs in our program, and we have some of our alumni here at the show who are
Oh, that's
marketing their
great.
specialty foods. So it's very exciting.
So you know what you should do? Here's an idea. And you have to talk to Ron Tanner about this. But you know how people win the Sophie Awards?
Yes.
What you should do is you should create a Cal Poly something, statue, whatever else, so that when they could put it in their booth, so people know that they're a graduate of Cal Poly.
That's a great idea. We will work on that
You
for
know?
the future.
Don't you think that would be
Absolutely.
cool? Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So, you know, when you describe your program, it seems very complete. You know, something that somebody could go through, either start up their own company, become the CEO of a multinational. I mean, you're really, you know, very holistic about food.
Yes, we are. They can, and it's a very broad major, and it provides students so many opportunities, and that's why we love bringing students. We have 54 students here
Wow,
at
that's
the
great.
show, an entire busload, and it just allows them to see the even further possibilities of what they can do in the food industry. And we've had a number of our students who have come here in the past. They've gotten inspired, and then the next year when we come, they're working for one of the companies.
Very cool.
Because they've just seen all the possibilities. So we think it's a great opportunity.
So what's the makeup of your students?
I think I'll let Blair talk about that,
Okay.
since she is one of them.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I'm president of the Agribusiness Management Club, and we're really the
So
face of.
shouldn't you have a pin that says I'm president or something?
No,
No?
I haven't
Okay,
gotten
2
that yet.
ideas now for it. One for
Exactly.
alumni, president gets a pin.
We'll
She
add
really
that
runs the thing.
to the
Okay.
to-do list.
Okay.
But we have, as Dr. Hamilton explained, just a huge variety of students. But in the club, we have around 100 students, and we're the Agribusiness Management Club, but we also have a competition team called NAMA. They compete at the National Agri-Marketing Association student
Okay.
competition. You know, and it's really related to the show in the sense that we develop food products for the contest that are usually a value-added product that would give some value back to the farmer. But we're always looking at branding ideas, innovation, and food trends that you can see at the show to decide what type of product we're going to launch out and compete with at the contest. So
What product did you put out there?
Yeah, so last year we actually won the national title against 40 other
did?
Yes.
Not the university, but you and your team.
No, yes, my team and I
Okay.
did. On behalf of Cal Poly.
Okay.
Against 40 other universities. We competed with a flour baking mix made out of grape pomace, so the leftover skins and seeds
Yep.
after grapes are crushed for wine.
I thought you only do grappa with that. Right? That's what you're supposed to do with
They do.
leftover. Yeah.
They
right?
do,
Okay.
but we're just looking at different ways to, have a product that would align with trends. So ours was more natural, simple ingredients, and it ended up taking the national title. So that's just one.
Congratulations. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's just one opportunity, but we have. It's so important because some students go into production agriculture, but they may not be aware of, all of the trends that are going to drive how their products being purchased and move throughout the supply chain. So all from students who are interested in production ag all the way to those who are getting ready to be in the retail space and, maybe buyers at the show in later years, we really provide a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, that's something that Ron Tanner and I were talking about earlier, about that retail component.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said how, Specialty Food Association would love to have more students really understanding retail and getting into retail. So you're pushing the retail side of this.
We are actually. We have a class that focuses on and gets students prepared to understand the challenges of working in retail. And one of our faculty members, Dr. Ricky Volpe, he's here alongside me, and this is his first time at the show. I'm kind of a veteran, but he's really intrigued about how to incorporate some of this information into his classes to get students
Sure.
even better prepared. Both from the retailing side, but also if you were trying to prepare a product for market, what are those considerations if you're trying to get into the retail space?
And, that's so critical because you can have a great idea, but if the packaging is off, if the marketing is off, it's just not going to go anywhere. And every year there's about 15,000 food and beverages that, are introduced, and only about 1,300 actually make it on the shelves, and then 3 years later there's probably less than 200 still around.
Yes.
So the odds are not in your favor. So what are you going to do to combat that what year are you in?
I'm a senior.
Okay. So
ready
you're
to
going to graduate soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to graduate, you're going to start up this fabulous company yourself. And how are you going to avoid those pitfalls?
Great question. I think that the biggest thing for us is just staying current and allowing our students this opportunity to come and interact with industry regularly, whether it be at the show or through some classes. We have great classes at Cal Poly. I was in the retail class that Dr. Hamilton was referring to, and then also a produce marketing class. So I think we really need to educate our students on the value of those relationships. And I believe that Cal Poly does a great job of setting students up to have those connections to be
You've trained
successful.
her well. Every other word is Cal Poly.
Cal Poly proud.
That's why she's president.
Absolutely. She is an exceptional representation of the high quality
Oh, that's great.
of our students. We're very proud of Blair and all the students that she represents.
Yeah, something else too that I like to touch on. I have to give a little shout out to one of
Yeah,
our members.
absolutely.
His name is Raphael, and he started his own company in the San Luis Obispo hot house. So they have
Yep.
an incubator and hot house, and he actually started a food company called Atza Foods, and we put on a career fair, which is a fundraiser. We actually just got done with that a few days ago to raise funds to send students up here. And he actually had his company purchase a booth space to recruit students, and he's a current member.
Fabulous.
So that's just, I think, a really great success story
That
of how
is.
our clubs, help somebody grow into this space, and we're excited, hopefully, to see him have a booth of his own here at the show in a couple years.
No, that's
So.
great. And my grandfather's a dairy farmer, so I grew up
Okay.
in the food world, and this is everything that I've done. And I've got to tell you something. In the food world, the humanity, the camaraderie is everybody's competing with everybody, sure. But you take a look at any industry, and you're not going to have this kind of passion. And certainly, as it comes down to your generation, it's great. And, we're looking forward to having more people, from Cal Poly and other places, really come into the industry and bring it to the next level. Because, what we're seeing now at retail, certainly, with all the changes that are taking place, Amazon and Whole Foods, we're having people who never would have thought about entering the food world now coming into food.
Yes.
And that's very cool. And as I'm sure you see that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we have a lot of our students. I mean, agriculture is a very small part, the production agriculture is a very small part of the economy, only about 2%.
Right.
We have well over half of our students who are from urban backgrounds. And they're interested in business, but they don't really know that much about the agriculture side. And they come into our program and they realize that, oh, it's this huge wide world of specialty food and wine and organics, and so many, and farm to fork, and so many different avenues. I really enjoy seeing those students who really had a maybe a misconception or maybe no idea at all about what the food industry is, and watch them find a place for themselves in it. That might be something completely different than those of us with a more traditional ag background might have thought of. So,
Sure. So what's the one thing that you hope for the food industry will accomplish over the next 2-3 years? You're up first.
wow.
If you could imagine anything happening, one thing.
I think trying to figure out how to get a very healthy and diverse food supply that fits all income levels. I think there's a big gap between the high income and low income in terms of their food availability, mostly because of affordability. And so I'd like to see that affordability creep down the supply chain to our less wealthy population.
Something that I see as something that will probably take a little more than 2 or 3 years, but something that I believe that we should be working towards is, from the farm all the way down to the final consumer, having more transparency and understanding. I know that that's something that we face in production agriculture that's very difficult and challenging to do. It's hard to explain all of the things that we do to people who don't necessarily know the industry. But it's amazing. Yesterday we had an informational session with some companies from the association, and they're talking about the narrative of food and that people are more and more concerned and interested in this. And I think that making sure that that narrative is factual, honest, and real is something that we can work on all the way down through the supply chain, but starting with the farmer is most important.
I would agree with both of your wishes, and I wish for them as well. So thank you both for joining us. We're going to take a break. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go on the show floor. We're going to find some of those new up-and-coming products, and we're going to then show them to you in a few hours from now and just make your mouth water and make you jealous that you're not here in San Francisco at the 2018 Fancy Food Show. So, don't forget, if you're in the industry, and this is just for the industry, no consumers are allowed here. Over 15,000 industry experts are here. Get ready for the summer Fancy Food Show that's going to happen in New York in June. I'm Phil Lempert, and we'll be back.